Okay, so I'll get started. We after the morning session, I thought, I really like that quiz or quiz. So I actually put a questionnaire together for us to kind of gauge where everybody is in this crazy working environment that we're all in. And so what I thought I would do, there's only a few of us, but Jamie's going to help me. And I went ahead and put together like a Word document where we can start tracking some of our suggestions and things. But the first thing I wanted to do is do a questionnaire. Everybody take a few minutes to fill out the questionnaire, and then we'll gauge where we are. Like, is anybody eating lunch other than their desk? Things like that. And then we can take those questions and start working on some solutions. Does that sound good to everybody? All right, so Jamie's going to put the questionnaire in the chat.
It's there.
It's there. Thank you. And then, so if we just take, oh, wait, back up before we get started. Is anyone here besides me new to RDA? Like first time at a plenary? Helen, would you mind introducing yourself so we can say hello, and then I'll do the same because I'm new too. Are you comfortable introducing yourself? We're not hearing you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So I'm Helen Martin. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Psychiatry at McGill University, Canada. And I'm new to RDA. And I am a strong believer of open science, open source. So that was the motivation or the driver to sort of attend RDA. And I also got the plenary scholarship, luckily. So here I am.
Nice. Thank you. So for those that just came in, we're introducing new people, new to RDA, and Helen's new, and I'm new. So my name is Stephanie Hagstrom, and I am, I think, the newest member to RDA, at least US, of the team. And my previous job was executive director of Force 11. And I also was the founding member and director of the Force 11 Scholarly Communication Institute, which we started 4 years ago. And I ran that up until August. And then I joined RDA. Geez, I guess I've been here a little over a month now. So I'm really, and then look, they're already got me working. So I'm thrilled to be here. I didn't have a choice, but I am thrilled to be here. So for those of you who just jumped on, there should be in the chat a questionnaire that I don't know. For people who came in late, you can't see it, can you? Okay, so we need to copy it, Jamie, and put it down again. That's the stupidest thing. I don't know why they do that. So let's take what we're going to do for those of you who just came in is we're going to fill out this questionnaire, and that'll give us some benchmark of what we, we'll tackle a couple of these areas where we're all struggling. Maybe we'll see what comes out. So let's take about 5 minutes, or not even, maybe 3 minutes to fill this out. And I'm not very good at questionnaires, so if you are, apologies. Creating questionnaires.
It's pretty good, Stephanie.
What's that?
It's pretty good. The questionnaire is pretty good. So,
yeah. Good. Yay.
I like the no comment option under exercise.
I did have a question for the class. Do I fill it out for the last 2 weeks for prepping for the plenary, or my life usually?
Prepping for the plenary. That'll give us lots to talk about.
No, the usual.
I don't know there's much we can do to help that except for have the plenary be done.
That would be always, always, always.
I'm not so comfortable answering some of these questions.
Then just put no comment. And we don't have your name anyway, so it's anonymous. I know. It's kind of given me a like, oh my gosh. I think
The
I need
exercise question didn't have the right kind of answer for me. So.
Yeah, what would that be?
Maybe sometimes, yeah, intended to.
It depends.
I did this morning. I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Let me.
sometime last week. Yeah.
Okay, so I think let me share my screen. If I can figure out how to do that. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at this. I can get all this stuff out of the way. Oh, look, that's not bad. Look at, I mean, some of us are. Oh, I don't know what that vary is. That's weird. Okay, so are you satisfied with your work-life balance? 61% of us said somewhat. 16.7 no. So we'll need to work on it, you guys. Do you work more than you think reasonable? Half of us said yes. Do you think the work interruption to your sleep? Ooh. That's not good. We should probably talk about that one. Melatonin. Do you find time to exercise? Okay, well, let's look at this one. 3 to 4 days. Look at that. 27% never.
Looks
Have
like
to
a
work.
beach ball, that one.
I know. We're going to have to work on that one. Even if it just means getting out for 5 minutes.
Beach
10
ball
minutes.
of shame.
I know. Yeah, that one is.
That's what some of us will look like after a couple more weeks of lockdown.
I was gonna add, have you gained weight? How much? 0 to 5, 5 to 10.
I think that would have been a great question if you had asked that.
I know. I could have had it.
That's a big fat no comment.
That's sensitive data, I think.
That is the beach ball of shame question.
That's right. Let's remember that one. So do you take breaks from working during an average day? 35, look at that. Not a lot. But there are a couple people here that do a really good job of it. Always. Look at that. Who is that? Oh, there's the dog. That's one of my questions. So what do you do about the dog that's barking when you're on a Zoom call? Do you dedicate time to having lunch? Sometimes, seldom, never. It's amazing. I mean, we're not getting up from our desk. Do you read and finish a book, at least one book for pleasure every 6 months? Never. That's the
Wow.
majority of us. Wow. All right. So there's a lot of chat going on. So what we're going to do next is we've set up a Google Doc, and Jamie has agreed to take notes. And what I thought I would do, I mean, we can do it however we want. We're not a large group, but what I thought we could do is maybe, throw out like an area that's troubling you or needs help, and maybe we can all help find solutions. Like one of the things that came up today, Jamie and I were talking about, is she has a 17-year-old at home who has to be doing, or Jamie, do you want to tell the question that you had? Like she needs help with this.
I have a 17-year-old who should be managing his time, but he has set Google Meets every day at different times, and sometimes just doesn't register it. So being home, I can get up usually and tell him to, get his rear gear, get on the call. But days like today, where I'm flat out and I don't have time to get up and prompt him. You know, it's stressful, and I'm trying to find an easier way to manage that. So that's what I threw out there.
So those are the kind of questions, or, you know, some of the ones in our survey, like what are people doing about insomnia? That seems to be a big one. I can look back. I mean, why don't we tackle this one? What should we do to help with lunch? You know, like what do we need to do? I mean, I rarely get up from my desk. So I want to hear from all of you. What do you do? For those of you who always eat lunch, whoever those two people are, what's making you get up?
So I'm one of the two people who always get up because I live in France, and here lunch is sacred. We have a lunch break that's very long. And when we were at the office, we had a lunch break, all the team together. So we had to have really the break for going to the restaurants, or have a sandwich or something. But lunch was is and stayed sacred even now that we are in confinement. So I leave the computer and go to another table to eat lunch.
I think I may have been the other one. I think I put that in. So because I have a lot of late night meetings and a lot of early morning meetings, I've decided that during the day, I don't really need to work as well all the time. Otherwise, I'd be there from 8 in the morning till midnight, and that's a little bit much. So I try to take time off during the day when it's hopefully nice and sunny and when I can actually go for a walk. So I try to do that. So I have some lunch, have a break with it, quite a long break mostly. And then I try to go outside and go for a walk now that we can again. I don't have to keep an eye on the time that I'm back within an hour. So that's what I try to do. It doesn't always work, but it's worth trying. Mind you, I mostly eat either at the desk or with my iPad, but then afterwards I take a bit more of a break.
Yeah. That's interesting, Stephanie, because one of the things I found when we first went home from COVID was I was feeling guilty if I would get up and leave, you know, because it's like, can you meet? No, my kids have a doctor appointment. No, they don't, you know, like so I've had to do that too. It's like, get up. It's okay. Like I'm on the West Coast. So what I'm finding is I'll get up early. I'm getting up at 5 anyway, because of the change of time. So by 7, I'm sitting at the desk working, but then I don't feel bad if I quit at 4. You know, it's like, stop and, you know, take a break, you know. So my hours are changing for sure. So I think, you know, Jamie's going to take some notes and keep track of what we're seeing, but certainly setting ourselves an alarm and getting up and eating would be something that's really something we could do. Anyone else?
My daughter keeps trying to tell me to food prep, like prep on the weekends for the week, because I'm not good at having any food in my house either. And I have whatever I have, I'm not in the mood to eat. So she's like, you have to prep. Yep. So that'll be my post-plenary goal. So
we'll do like a big old like tray of chicken, and that's my husband has been a #blessing because he's like, I made like 10 chicken breasts, eat real food. They're in the fridge. He calls it my lunch pail.
Yep. And then other ideas?
I mean, I usually use the timer one. I answered as now, which is plenary crazy. But usually I look at my calendar of meetings for the next day and I go, okay, I've got a break between this and this. And I set an alarm for a half an hour later, and I get up from the physical place where I work and I go to a separate physical place and I must eat and do something else other than work. for 30 minutes. And then I come back.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is the scheduling meetings for 50 minutes, like Zoom meetings, because there's those days that you just have back to back to back and you literally do not have time to go to the toilet. I mean, it's like I get on the next call and it's like, excuse me, I need just a minute, you know? So I think we all should start scheduling our meetings 50 minutes instead of an hour.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I went
Good
to
point.
a virtual conference recently, and their program was, because it was set in a slightly different time zone, it was from pretty much 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. And the only break they had was like half an hour, roughly our lunchtime, but that was not the lunchtime of the time zone where it was. And then I think 10 minutes in the afternoon or something like that. And it was insane because you kept, and this system actually stopped your session on the dot, and then bang, you were out, and bang, you had to go to the next one. It was terrible. I just felt like conference boot camp, and that really doesn't work. So I found that if I have multiple meetings in a row, I just need a break in between, even just to step outside, look at the garden or whatever, just to get away from it, because otherwise my brain just disengages at some point.
yeah. Well, I think we as a group here need to take a stand and say 50 minutes is it for a meeting. And every meeting we schedule from now on is going to be 50 minutes each. And we'll start a trend. I mean, look, everybody in here is like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So
Now I have to update all the reoccurring Outlook appointments.
Oh. Thanks, Megan.
Outlook hates 50-minute meetings. Outlook doesn't know what to do.
Does
with
not
50
want me
minutes.
to do that.
No.
You can
Somebody at
always
Microsoft needs to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
okay,
always-
45 minutes then. 45 minutes.
You can always schedule it for an hour and then make sure you finish early, because that means if there is a next meeting, you definitely have a 10-minute break. Whereas if you put a 50-minute thing in your calendar, some clever person might take those 10 minutes and stick a meeting there.
Good point.
Delete them.
Yeah.
Well, and another one that my former boss did, because she just never, she's on Zoom meetings all day long. She finally just cut off her calendar at like 3 p.m, and said, no more, do not schedule me anything after 3. I have to write, I have to read, I have to. And what I've tried to do now is leave my Fridays open for work as best I can. I try to just not schedule anything on Friday. And that is sort of working. I mean, I probably have half my day empty, which is nice. So I'm hearing that just not have Zoom meeting overload is just crazy. Okay, so what other things do we want to touch on? Sleep. I think sleep's really important, and we've got almost always people are thinking about work during sleep, and then they're not, and they're having trouble sleeping. This is worrisome for me that there's this many people that are sometimes being interrupted for work. So one of the things I did years ago was I put a little pad of paper next to my table, and I have a pen. And when I wake up, I write it down, and it makes me go back to sleep. Like, it allows me to go back to sleep, whatever I'm thinking about. So does anybody else have any tips for that? Melatonin? Sleeping pills?
Stephanie, when you read those things you've written down in the middle of the night, in the morning, do they make any sense? Or
Not always. Which meant it wasn't worth waking me
but
up,
it doesn't matter. The whole thing is to trick your panic brain into being quiet, and it doesn't matter what it takes.
Now, if we all actually exercised a little bit more, we might be able to get more sleep at night too. So there's that relationship as well.
So I actually do a lot of exercises late at night, so midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that, because that's when I have the time. And I've found that is great, but it wakes me up.
Yeah. Don't do them right before bed.
Yeah. Apparently you're supposed to do it like when you first wake up, which sounds awful and no thank you. So I do it after work, but still plenty of time before bed.
Well, yeah. The other one is screen time. I mean, all the research, right? It says, don't bring your phone in your room. Don't put the TV in your room. Just stop at some point, cut it off, and go back to the old days of reading a book in bed.
Just say, read a paper book and kill 2 birds.
Yeah. So anybody else have any ideas on those of, I'm one of the ones that I very rarely lose sleep. I'm very lucky. But any other thoughts on?
Not even over the plenary? Before plenary 15, I was sort of awake, I don't know how many hours a day.
Yeah, but you see, Stephanie, being up at 4 this morning made sure that everybody had their registration stuff sorted before 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know why I'm very lucky apparently that I can just shut my eyes and go to sleep. And
Very jealous.
yeah, I actually, it was interesting because growing up I thought everybody could do that. They don't. Most people don't. No. So I realize how blessed I am. Anyway, okay, so any other thoughts on that?
Falling asleep only works when you're driving.
Seriously, when I was a child, my parents would put me in the car and drive me around the block so that I would go to sleep. So now I'm a passenger. I pass out in the car.
So all you need is someone to drive you around when you're insomniac, and it's all good.
Sadly, I'm living alone.
Oh,
what a mistake.
Just call it Uber to take you around the block.
That's brilliant. It's like we could set up a map and people could ping each other. Can you come over and
you
drive
know what?
me
There
around?
must be a business idea there somewhere.
I know, right? I think it's great. It's Uber. Send an Uber over. I need to go to sleep.
Uber sleep.
Oh my gosh, I heard it here. I'm taking that one.
You'll be a millionaire.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna get the informatics lab to build it.
Leighton, I actually once fell asleep as a passenger on a motorbike. At 100 kilometers an hour. I woke up an hour later.
What?
So, yeah. Yes.
Wow.
You stayed on?
I did. And I fell asleep at 100 kilometers an hour. And an hour later, we were still on the Autobahn and I woke up. Yep.
Wow.
Are you like part baby sloth? Like,
possibly.
Oh my God.
Not something
Stephanie,
I would.
Sorry.
I was going to say, it's not something I would recommend.
So who was driving that gave you so much effort that you would not fall off?
I've no idea. It was a friend of mine, and he noticed that I'd fallen asleep, and he just kept going. It's like, are you bloody mad?
Not a great friend, I would say.
Nice friend, Steph.
He didn't push me off, at least.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have 1 minute left, right? Oh, this is so fun. We didn't even get to half of the things. Okay, well, we do have notes. Jamie's been, thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome. I did take some out of the chat though. There are some good comments in chat about how screen use in bed can overstimulate, which contributes to insomnia. No screens in bed. And yeah, so there's some good comments in that area, and I'll add those comments to the notes too.
Okay, and so in summary, we're going to schedule our meetings for 45 minutes because Microsoft doesn't do 50. And we're going to remember to take breaks, that it's okay to take breaks.
And do not feel guilty.
And not feel guilty. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
and
thanks.
Make the most of it when it's nice weather, because I've found myself sitting inside all day and going, well, that wasn't great. So, take the time when it's actually sunny and light, and you get a little bit of vitamin D too.
Yeah.
It's hard for the Northern Hemisphere, I know, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining in, and we'll get these notes out to everybody. I think somehow we'll tweet them out.
We can have an RDA book to sort of cookbook for work and life balance.
There you go.
Yeah, and we'll have the Uber drivers deliver it.
And you can hitch a ride so you
Plan.
can go to sleep.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Don't trust Leighton as a delivery guy though, because he'll be asleep in the back of the Uber.
I used to be a truck driver. That's the scary thing.
That's terrifying.
Oh,
Oh, look at the cat.
oh, that's really
That's
scary.
the answer to the pets is just let them be on the call. This is our life now. What can you do?
Let their voices be heard.
Oh, no.
Right.
Okay, I'll just say one thing about my dog. He hates the yard guy. Hates him. So when I'm on a call with him, it sounds like he's like going to try to murder somebody, and he will not let up. I mean, people have been on a call and they're like, impressive, embarrassing. Anyway. All right. Well, it's lovely. You guys get some rest.
Bye,
Nice
See you all
folks.
tomorrow.
talking. Thanks.
Bye.
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 Everybody.
Bye.